don't ever come on my platform and lie about me. Welcome back to the Bet Victor Top 6 show. How are we all doing?
I've been out here sacrificing my kids' chance to support Man United. I'm sick of it. And don't you ever come on this channel and lie about me, bro.
That one. This one's the best one. Cowards. Cowards. Charlatans.
I just got to be careful. I don't want to get switched on. Terry, take it.
No, it's when he started quoting the Spice Girls. I knew you were done. I was like, this man has lost it.
You know,
yo, Patrick, be careful. You're in the same spot as the gal. So
exactly.
I always listen back to my streams, and the one that made me, I was listening to myself, but I was like, oh, why did I say that? Is like, I'm no cuck. I'm just shaking my milk on his head.
I'm no cuck.
No cucks allowed. Yeah, it was. I was very angry last night. I've got it out of my system today, though. Do you know it's nice doing a stream with Lee Gunner? Always cheers me up. I'm like, I'm not the most angriest man on Twitter, YouTube, so I'm all good. But there we go. Yeah, absolute madness yesterday. Lots to do. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be reviewing and previewing the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup on the show. Of course, we don't know if Liverpool is going ahead. Probably going to be cancelled because Liverpool have gone running to the FA, the governing bodies, to get that one called off because training's been closed down. Of course, player welfare comes first, but we'll be previewing that later, taking a look back at the weekend. Of course, Lukaku willingly sat down and apologized today for his behavior. So we'll be looking at that as well. Lukaku looked like he had a shotgun to his head, is what Red Wolf has got to say. We'll be delving into that, but make sure the like button is smashed. You sign up to your Bet Victor account so you get those ready because you'll need that later on in the show, especially for the score predictions and stuff like that. And yes, absolutely, Igal is a football terrorist legend. We all know he is. Friends sometimes clash and have fallouts. There's no more to be said about it than that. That's it. Me and Igal spoke afterwards. He said sorry, and it's all good.
And he did also say, I'll never go on your platform again and lie about you.
We both tagged each other. We both said so there we go. And of course, Kieran Trippier to Newcastle has been agreed, people. Good deal. Good. He played for you, Patty. Like, good signing for him?
I think, to be fair, Trippier is a good passer of the ball, but one-on-one defensively, he's going to get toasted. And Newcastle are a team that are going to obviously not have the ball in a lot of games. And I think he's going to get exposed. And yeah, I mean, going forward, he's okay, but defensively, where Newcastle are going to need him more than ever, he's going to get toasted and roasted and put in a spliff week in and week out. So I'm not too sure, man. And for the wages that he's going to be on as well, Jesus Christ, he better come with some. Yeah, he better come and ball out because they're going to need him if they want to stay up.
Yeah. You link with Man United. I mean, KJ, you feeling like this is a play? I mean, he's definitely better at crossing the ball than AWB. Yeah. Like, do you feel like it's someone that you would have liked to have seen coming to United this month, or are you quite happy for him to go to the Newcastle? What are you thinking?
No. Once we missed out on him in the summer, I was just okay with the situation. It was someone that when we was linked to, I was like, yeah, it would be a good kind of option to have someone different to AWB, better on the ball, can play better football. So he's definitely a good player, and we saw it during some of the Euros games, and we've seen it many times for Spurs because he went through that period where it was just like their best right back. So he's a very talented player. Obviously, won the league with Atletico as well. So he's a very good player. He's proven himself. Now he deserves his paycheck. Now, you know what I mean. Just go down there, and as I said before, relegation fight. It might be a bit fun. He's been there before as well. Man, when he used to play for Burnley and that, like he's been in the trenches. Like he's going back for a little bit of holiday. And if they go down, man can just dip real quick while bagging like what 150k in a week.
Pain. He's had pain. He played for Spurs, bro. Like he's been in the trenches. He's had pain. Do you know what I mean?
Hey, when he played for us, we were good. To be fair,
honestly, but it's the biggest club he's ever played for in England now. And diehard fans, beautiful stadium.
Excuse you.
best manager he's ever played for as well. So yeah, he's on to a winner. He's on to a winner. Up there. No, I'm only joking. I think it's a decent bit of business for Newcastle, and it's the kind of player that I think is right for them. Like some of the links early on that people were making with like Champions League players in their pomp. No disrespect to Newcastle, that's not happening this summer. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not going to go and get those players, or this just January. But it'll be an interesting one for them. I mean, where are we going to start tonight, though, outside of that? I mean, I suppose we've got to start one place, really, haven't we? Because we've got 4 rivals on here. Do you want to get laughing at Man United out of the way so we just get that done?
Boy,
I don't even know
a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think we should save that, man. I think Lukaku's the first place to
start with Lukaku. We'll come to you on that then. We'll come to you on that then, Dan. Obviously, like Lukaku today apologized, said he's sorry. Some Chelsea fans are happy that it's happened. A few others think it's a little bit forced and a little bit kind of contrived. Like, what's your take on him saying sorry? And is that enough for you as a Chelsea boy?
Yeah, I mean, whether you thought it was scheduled, it was written for him, whether you thought it was genuine, like it had to be done. Like, obviously the reports identified that he had said sorry to the board, to the players. So he had to say sorry to the fans. Like at the end of the day, one of the first things I said was when it first all came out, even before, how people were waiting and they thought the first day was the only thing that was going to happen. And then we saw more quotes come out from the first day. I said, he's kind of disrespected the fans and what he said. So apologizing to the fans had to happen, whether he had a gun to his head, like some of the people have mentioned, and whatnot. But look, football's a game of peaks and troughs, and he's to get back into the Chelsea fans' good books, especially a lot of them. He's just gonna have to perform on the pitch. Put your money where your mouth is, man. Like, do your talking on the pitch. Like, it's cliche, it's been said, but like, cost £100 million at the end of the day. And if you win us trophies, that's what we'll remember. I think for a lot of people, when you're talking about favorites and where he ranks in your favorites, he probably will never be on top. He will never be on top. He will never be in your top 3 again. Maybe not, but he can help his legacy by helping us win trophies, which we can do this season, where we're still in 4 competitions. If you think we're out of the Premier League, we're still in 3 competitions that I believe we have a very good chance as anyone as winning all of them. Semi-finals of the League Cup, the FA Cup is definitely there, and the Champions League, we're definitely one of the favourites. So, yeah, man, we'll see what happens.
Are you still repping big 4-4 no safety? Is that still? Is he still that, or is it you retracting that?
No,
now,
no, he doesn't. He doesn't lose his nickname. He probably loses my energy, but he doesn't lose his nickname. Nah, he's still one of my
Daniel
favorites.
said, "I ain't fighting no battles for this guy no more."
Nah, like, he's got. Look, do you know what it is? Yeah, for me saying he's one of my favorite players had nothing to do with his attitude. It was always about his football on the pitch. I've always rated him higher than other people, higher than Man United fans and whatnot. I've always thought he was a very, very top class striker. That even in his poor seasons at Man United, you look at the production, he was still double figures. He was still scoring goals. So for me, it's just a case where, like, as a fan, maybe the love, because I support Chelsea, might not be the same. However, he's still got his nickname, man. He's still got... Beck's never lost his nickname. Lukaku never loses his too, man.
Cool. Man's not a big 4-4. No, his man's a super soaker, bro. That's about it now. Super soaker 3000. That's. But the thing is, for me, he had to apologize.
Yeah,
that's always gonna, irrespective of what happens between now and the end of the season, transfer windows. Chelsea had to make him apologize. 1, to calm fans down. 2, even if he is to leave, they've got to recoup some of the money from him. They can't just... I know it would have been kind of funny for him to be loaned out to SE Dons or something like that, like literally like damage his career, but that was never going to happen in reality. They had to do something to rectify the situation. The only thing I would say to Chelsea fans is Lukaku's got a track record of, he said sorry today. Would I be shocked if in 3 months something else happens? Would I be like, oh my God, I did not see that one coming? So I don't think it's the end of Lukaku drama. Like, you've all got friends like it that they're just drama. No matter what they do, they can't apologize Sunday morning. Oh, I'm sorry for that last night, boys. Won't happen again. It's like, bro, I know it's happening next weekend as well. It's every weekend. You're the drama. You get us thrown out the club. You get us thrown out the chicken shop. Like, you're a fool. Do you know what I mean? That's Lukaku for me. How about you, Lulu? You don't really seem to have these problems at Liverpool too much with players mouthing off and whatever. Do you think Chelsea have done the right thing by rectifying it, or do you think they should have punished him and banished him to the reserves and whatnot, like Arsenal have kind of done with Aubameyang?
I think it's a very different situation. I think Chelsea have handled it incredibly well. Tuchel in his press conference, I think handled it about as well as he could. They've really diffused the situation very well. Listen, it's funny to kind of sit and watch, like kind of look at things fall apart. It's kind of like when Liverpool fans were all wanting, like from my point of view anyway, when we were all wanting more signings in the summer and we wanted us to spend big money. I'm like, it doesn't always work out the way you want it to. It's not like splashing £100 million on a player solves all of your problems. Like, it's not how things work. Yes, we don't have that at Liverpool, but it's kind of to do with our recruitment, where we buy players that suit the system and they know the system they're coming into beforehand. So like that whole Lukaku of Tuchel playing in the system that you didn't want wouldn't have happened. But listen, I think some of the things that he said were taken out of context. Others were like not taken out of context, but blown out of proportion. Others were incredibly like wrong, and he shouldn't have said them. I'm just gutted because I would want nothing more. Obviously, we're playing Inter Milan in the Champions League. Obviously, I want Liverpool to win, but if we weren't playing Inter Milan, I'd want nothing more than like a quarter-final between Inter Milan and Chelsea.
Well, it could happen.
But I think
it could happen.
It won't. It will not happen.
Gosh. Oh my! You see how quick you switched it.
Just so we're clear,
You're the same guy that said Leicester won't beat us. We'll smash them. That was you, right?
Yeah. Wait. Look,
anything can happen in one game. Anything can happen in one game. When it's a 2-game leg, it's much easier to predict.
Yeah. So 2-game legs and you're a bigger side. You win.
Liverpool have never been knocked out the Champions League by a team weaker than them over 2 legs, have you? That's true, actually. Yeah.
Go on, what's your point?
You better not lie on my platform, Louis. I
can lie myself as long as it's not about you.
Exactly.
But no, I just think the whole situation is kind of like, and yeah, it is nice that Liverpool don't have these problems going on, but I don't think it.
Do you know what's funny though? Like, what is actually funny for me is that, like, for rivals especially, if he comes back and scores in every single game from now, everyone's gonna forget about this.
If he played on Sunday, he would have scored.
I think so. I genuinely said,
million%.
And I quote, this is what I said. If we had a striker in that game, the person who we bought to score us goals in decisive games, we would have won that game. There was no way we were not winning that game.
He doesn't score goals in decisive games. This is my point. That the whole narrative around him, anyway.
Yes. However,
sound like Mario Kart.
as long as you just admitted that Arsenal is in a decisive game, I'm fine with that.
Wow.
I need a button. I need a button for that. Terry, I need one. Okay.
No, that's not a good one.
There you go.
I don't know all these. But what does this one do?
A few moments later.
Okay, I haven't set these up. That's
okay. We don't want to hear him now.
Hang on. No, we've got to hear him now. Well, that one just stuff. Do you know what I mean, Louis? Tell us your name. What's your full name, Louis?
Don't fall for it.
Like, yes, right. I want to ask you, like, when you look at Lukaku, is this apology enough, or do you think he has to do it on the field? That's where it's got to count the most, right?
Yeah, he has to do it on the pitch. I mean, it is what it is. It was one of those contrived, like, you know, we got to do this. Like, agent was like, you got to do this. And he's like, all right, I'll do it. So he definitely has to do it on the pitch. And I'm sure at some point in the season, Tuchel will give him the opportunity to do it. He was playing him before this whole situation. He had like 4 games in the side or something like that. So I'm sure he'll return and score some goals. Probably not in decisive matches, but, you know, against Burnley and those types of teams, you know what I mean? But I think that like the best thing about this was just a little bit of fun for the last couple of weeks. You guys completely capitulated, like in terms of your fan base. And like the weirdest thing is it was being conflated with are we out of the title race? Are we a dead team and all this kind of stuff? Nah, Lukaku in this whole situation doesn't take away from anything. You guys are still up there in the title race, and I expect you guys to compete. So we'll see what happens. But the memes have been great. The content has been amazing. We have enjoyed this. Thank you very much, Chelsea Football Club. That was amazing.
Jesse's out here like throwing the smoke, throwing the corn.
Jess is in the trenches.
I gotta get this in while I can.
One thing that
we're coming next week.
One thing I'm just astonished by is the fact, and it's not bad astonished. It's like I'm shocked that it even happened. That he did it on official Chelsea comms, bro. Like he was on their Twitter page. Like normally these things, it's the players' Instagram live, or a short little video or picture with a statement written by their PR team. But them man sitting down like, my brother, you sit there. You apologize now. Literally, I can see Roman with his frogs in the KGB in it. Just standing next to him.
It was like the kid in the car boot apology in Uncle Buck. That's actually a great analogy. If you've ever seen Uncle Buck, man, like Dan K. I want to ask Patty a question about this, right? So you kind of look at this Chelsea situation. I know he said sorry, but some of the reports, not what he said, but like he wants back to Inter, he wants to go now. Surely that hasn't been resolved in one Monday morning meeting with Tuchel. Surely he still has these desires to leave. It can't have all just. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, of course. His actual feelings and everything else isn't going to change over 1 or 2 days, but he's done the right thing. He's come out and apologized. That's the first step. Then, like Daniel said, he's got to do his talking on the pitch, like Dan and Jess were saying. I just obviously hope it's not tomorrow or the week after when we play them. Let him, sit on the bench, or let Tuchel not play him. But I don't think Tuchel can cut off his nose to spite his face when you saw against Liverpool how many chances they missed and wasted. I think he will get thrown back in, but yeah, I'm just hoping that he doesn't try and hit the ground running against us. You know what I mean? Let them still fumble the bag and mess about, and obviously, hopefully, we can, smash them tomorrow. Do you know what I mean?
Big game, which we're previewing later on the terrace, people. Another big game happened this weekend. A huge game. Arsenal, Man City. I want to get some opinions on this because I don't think I spoke to any of you, barring Jay, about this all weekend. So, why did Arsenal lose? Was it did the ref rip them off? Was it naivety from Arsenal? Was it Xhaka not leading them right?
Can I start?
Luck? Yeah, go on, Pat. What are you saying, Pat? Why did? Because Arsenal were. I want to say this first. Arsenal were sensational for the vast majority of that game. It's the biggest beatdown I've seen in terms of play. I've seen Man City take since Liverpool smashed them in the Champions League a few years ago. In terms of every blade of grass, Arsenal were the better team. But why do you think they lost?
Listen, in the first 30 to 40 minutes, Arsenal were scintillating. I was looking at it. I couldn't believe it. It's like Man City was shell-shocked. They just didn't know what had hit them. I don't think they expected Arsenal to come out and play the way they did. Arsenal literally played them off the park. And to be fair, Arsenal should have been 2 or 3-0 up. But the thing is, I don't know, man, naivety. Xhaka doing what he did. He didn't need to do that at the time when he did that. Obviously, as well, Martinelli missing a pretty much open goal. He tried to be too cute and he went for the hardest shot that he could do. Why didn't he had the whole other side of the goal to aim at. I know people started doing freeze frames and showing the referee got in his way and all of that. That's nonsense. He had the whole goal to aim at, just scored a goal. Pretty much Arsenal will win that game. But I just think that you just see Man City, I don't even think it's anything to do with the quality of the players, because I do think Arsenal have shown in the last couple of weeks and even maybe a month the levels that they're at. But Man City just know how to kill the game off. They went to the end, and obviously Rodri getting that goal in injury time, it just pretty much showed the belief of the camp, do you know what I mean? But obviously, going back to it, Xhaka getting sent off pretty much, that killed it. Because after that, as you would expect, Man City had most of the ball, and they just went to the end. I think if it's 11 versus 11, Arsenal would have won that game.
I hear you. What about yourself, Lou? I mean, I know a few Arsenal fans I've spoken to believe conspiracy, referees conspired against them. It was decisions. Do you think that played a part?
Listen, both decisions were debatable. It could have gone one way, could have gone the other way. if they were in a Liverpool game, I'd want all of them to go in our favour. But as a neutral watching, I wouldn't even say I was a neutral watching in this game because I might as well have been wearing an Arteta full tracksuit with my AirPod in, talking to the man like Albert. But no, like it was a very good game. Just the decisions didn't go Arsenal's way. I think there was a little bit of naivety to Arsenal, but that's kind of to be expected when you've got a young and inexperienced team. Like it's just like Gabriel. I believe that in 3 years' time, he doesn't do what he did. He knows he's on a yellow from scuffing the penalty spot. The amount of players that get away with that, like Ramsdale got away with it in the same game. He was just kind of unlucky and then stupid with the error. Xhaka, who I actually thought was great with Partey in midfield, and like not a lot of I can't remember last time a two-man midfield dominated Man City's midfield. So what are we doing this?
Yeah, he's bopping.
I was thinking of Don Robbie's video. When I think of Partey, I can't help myself.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I thought I was doing that. I was like consciously watching myself. No, I thought Partey was great. And listen, it's decisions that didn't go their way. Personally, I didn't think it was a penalty. I didn't think either one was a penalty. But when they're that tight, you kind of have to go with what the on-field referee gave. He didn't give the penalty for one and he gave it for the others. You kind of can't argue. But I would have been fuming if it was Liverpool. But I think Arsenal can take a lot from that loss. Like they performed incredibly well. Without their manager, they are a team that has got a lot going for them. And I think that if Conte hadn't come into Tottenham, I'd be saying that they're favourites for top four.
I just think Arsenal fans should.
Exactly. When you said that Arsenal got a lot going for them, yeah.
No, they do though. I think
they do.
Firstly, I think Arsenal fans need to chill about that game. Football happens, innit? Conspiracy, all of that stuff. I saw them reaching with the referees was blocking Martinelli. If you watch that, I don't.
Yeah. Next time something happens to you, keep this energy. Keep this energy.
Yes,
remember
something
this.
like that has already happened.
Hang on, you guys had it with Anthony Taylor.
Remember this.
Hold on. Don't do that because it literally happened in basically the same game week. Hudson-Odoi passed it across. It was a handball. That wasn't looked at VAR. Pulisic as well got tricked up in the box. It wasn't looked at VAR. It's happened to us already this season. We can't complain. Back to the main point. And let me land, Jess, because you're actually going to like what I'm going to say. Cool. So the reaching about the Martinelli thing, I thought that was funny. Please, people in the comments, stop watching football only in screenshots. Stop it.
Listen, exactly.
Hate it with a passion. You stopped it at the exact moment where it looks like the referee is blocking Martinelli. If you watched it in real time, Martinelli actually anticipates where the ball's going to land. So he maneuvers himself around the ref, making it easier to finish the chance. So let's stop doing that. Cool. Now that that's out of the way, Arsenal, it pains me to say, but it's looking like they're on an upward trajectory. Their rebuild is happening in a different way where the transfers are logical. Let's look at it like this. Man United had a transfer window of Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, where they spent 50 million on both. That you bought one more player in that transfer window who's just escaped my mind. Dan James. And it seemed like a good a rebuild was happening. A right back, a centre back, and a squad player. It happens. We thought it was all good. Arsenal, on the other hand, Ramsdale, Ben White, Lukonga, we thought, what are you lot doing? Overspending on these overrated players. Fair enough. The majority of fans overspending on these.
Hang on, Terry, are you saying you thought Ramsdale was a good signing? I'm not trying to lie on your channel.
No.
He was really
I don't know anyone that did.
To be fair,
he was really positive on Oliver's
yeah, Terry has been very positive about Arsenal transfers from day one.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, he has. So.
But Ramsdale, I wasn't too sure. I felt that they should have put the money into Maddison, but I didn't say it's a bad goalkeeper. But
yeah. So basically, my point is, it seems like there's a plan there. They've got an identity. Whether this is the kind of players, these are the kind of players, that they want to buy. It makes sense. And as long as your transfers make sense, and then the football on the pitch after the transfers makes sense, fans will believe in it. Why do we believe in Tuchel? Because we've seen the football that he's played. We've won a Champions League. Why do you think every person and their dad is backing Tuchel all the way in this situation. I've seen player power situations at Chelsea Football Club where we didn't even give the manager a chance because we were waiting for the first instance of him losing the dressing room, and that manager was out because no one liked him. But the reason why is because everyone likes the situation. Have you seen now the narrative? Remember after the Everton game, Terry, everyone wanted Arteta sacked. No one's talking about the sacking now. Everyone's talking about, oh, Arteta's a professional. Do you know what I actually heard? One thing, an Arsenal fan, I won't out him. He actually said to me that we can see, and he used to be Arteta out. He said we can see the pep in Arteta because he's a disciplinarian. He's getting the bad seeds out, the bad eggs out, and the club is backing him, and he's showing Pep traits when Pep got rid of Ronaldinho and Deco and all these guys at his club because he wanted to set his precedent. And whether you believe that is true, it's because you believe what you're seeing on the pitch, and the guys you bought in are now performing.
But to a degree, it is true. The problem is when you compare it to Pep, is people again go very polarized and go, "You sound as good as Pep," and it's not about whether he will ever be as good as Pep. It's about mannerisms. And the one thing with Arsenal, I'm still not sure whether Arteta is a good enough coach to make Arsenal's medium to long term aims is to be champions of England again. When you're a club that size with that heritage, winning titles is where you want to get to. Winning the Champions League for the first time is where they should be aspiring to get to. And I don't think that's disrespectful to say all of the clubs here, barring Patrick's, that's our standards. And I don't even mean that rudely. I'm not even Fran Sol like Spurs.
I know.
I think you want to get there, but you're not. So we don't know whether Arteta is going to do that. But the reason that Arsenal are progressing now quicker than Man United is because whatever they started under Mikel Arteta, they're 2 years into it and they haven't deviated. What they didn't do to Mikel Arteta at the last moment in the summer is throw in a player into the mix that he didn't want or need for his system. Man United have ended up doing that, for instance, with Cristiano Ronaldo. The player isn't a bad player, as in, I still think Ronaldo can do a job for people. He's still one of the best finishers in the world. But it turns out it just isn't what Manchester United needed. Some people got it right ahead of time. Some people wanted to wait and see. Some people got it wrong, thinking it would be a brilliant signing. And it isn't even the position. You could have signed another striker, maybe it would have worked. Man United then tried changing their style and their system to suit these new players they brought in. And you should never be changing your system and style based on your third summer of transfers. It should be a continuation of the same project. And Arsenal look dangerous for me. Arsenal look absolutely, they're just getting better and better and better. And I understand that Antonio Conte is at Chelsea, and that makes them a huge favourite.
Tottenham.
Sorry, makes them a huge favourite to make it into the top four. Sorry,
brother.
No, she broke up with him 5 years ago, Terry. She broke up with me now.
This entire time.
I was saying though, literally, Arteta, the work he's done over the last 2 years has been great, but all it took was Conte to come into Tottenham, and that's just been like this season was the season for Arsenal to get back into the top four. And all it took was Conte to come in, and now I can't see them not getting top four.
Yeah, but well, it depends, because you also got West Ham as well. Like West Ham, it's
going to be Tottenham.
No. You say this, but they're keeping up with the pace. Like they're there. You know what I mean? Like they are there. So to exclude them is disingenuous. They have been there for a reason, and Arsenal now have got two competitors against them that will give them stiff competition, because all three of them have something going in their favor. Arsenal have the time with Arteta and the squad that's molded into them, molded into what he wants. Same with David Moyes. I think those two are very similar in terms of where they're at right now. And then you got Spurs with just a world-class manager. You know what I mean? Like, and not just any world-class manager, a manager that's instilled something new into a Spurs team that you thought was dead. And that's like a dangerous thing, because they still have the Kanes, they still have the Sons, they still have the M. Dumbeles. You've got talented players that can do something. So it's also got stiff competition, but they're doing well, and they are looking like the best out of the three right now. And if they keep it up,
realistically, I don't feel like. I mean, I don't think Spurs or Arsenal at the beginning of the season were really being spoke about in this way. And so I think both teams have a lot to be kind of proud about, because, because Manchester United really isn't doing the business. We're both looking at that spot like, okay, and we have different reasons for feeling like we can get there. Arsenal, for me, is just like, is outperforming anything I probably thought we could do. And the football that we played against Man City is something I definitely can get behind, because the process is kind of like working. It's looking like that was not sit in a low block and just hope that you get a counterattack and nick it. Like, we were definitely in that match, and it was just confirmation of everything that we've been doing since the Everton game. And this is without the star striker that people know we're going to buy. It's without the upgrade on Xhaka. And I think those two signings alone, even if we miss out on top 4 this season, it'll be difficult, but we will be able to compete for it again next season. So we need to try to get it now, because I don't know what United's going to be like next season. We don't know who's going to come out of the woodwork. But I'm feeling positive because the football that I'm looking at is enjoyable. Like, I'm actually enjoying it. And a couple of weeks ago, I remember Daniel was asking me, what is your style of play? And I know I just said 9 unbeaten, but I didn't know, because I didn't know what I was looking at. Now I see something that I can get behind. So yeah, there you go.
I hear you on that. And I think, to your point, when Louis sort of said, like, I don't think they'll get it. And I think Arsenal fans have got to, there's 2 things. It's still too early in the season to start looking at whether Arsenal or Spurs miss out on top 4 is a disappointment. And I say that because if Arsenal suddenly go 9, 10, 12 points clear, level on games with Spurs and Man United, and then don't get it, there will be a sense of disappointment because it ended up being in your hands. But the progression of Arsenal, if it maintains throughout the course of the rest of the season, that's something to grow on next year. And what it's interesting, like, I agree with setting high expectations for your clubs when your club's being run well. But it's a step change. You can't go from 8th. Like, it's not always realistic to go from 8th to 4th, especially if everyone that finished above you the previous season also improved. What you've got to be ready for at all times is that drop off from a team. The crazy thing is, as bad as Liverpool and Chelsea's form has been in recent games, and they've fallen far behind City, if City had a few slip ups in that period as well, the reaction towards Liverpool and Chelsea's form wouldn't have been as big. It's only because you've fallen away. And I think that's what Arsenal have got, should be very proud of themselves for where the direction they've gone in. And when we actually take a look here at the Bet Victor odds, interestingly, Man United are still odds-on favourites to make the top 4 outside of Liverpool and Chelsea at 7-4. So in terms of, and again, Bet Victor will set their odds based on what they see, but a lot of it is based on betting patterns, where people are putting their money. So there still is more money being placed on Man United to make the top 4 than Tottenham and Arsenal and, of course, West Ham. It is shrinking very, very quickly. Another couple of defeats for Man United. They do fall 5, 6, 7 points behind with no game in hand. That will suddenly change. Man United is still seen as a favourite. So if you are someone watching and you think, I think Arsenal are going to do it, 9-4. If you think Spurs are going to do it, it's 2-1. You're doubling your money plus some looking at those 2 teams moving forward. So, if you fancy a responsible flutter, remember, you've got to be over the age of 18. Click on the links in the description below. Sign up to your free Bet Victor account. It's £5. If you put a £5 bet on, you get a £30 free bet on top. But still Man United favourites. But me and you, we don't see that, KJ, do we? Like, in terms of Man United, I mean, do you feel, honestly, as a Man United fan now, we are moving on to the Man United section of this, do you feel like Man United is more embarrassment for us, more frustration for us? Do you feel like Man United now are out of the top 4 race, in your opinion?
Yo, brother, it's done, bro. It's done. The season's done. I don't even know I don't know what we're here, bro. I don't even know why I'm here, because it's called the Top 6 show, bro. Yo, go get Dan Lawless, bro. Go get him. He should be here. He should be here in my spot, bro, because this is a disgrace. Like, Man United, right now, like, we're not anything. There's no style.
Sorry to KJ. Sorry to interject. Don't you think you're being reactionary? Though?
No. Let me have my. Oh, listen, Patrick. Shush. Let me have my time to speak, and then you can react. The state of Man United right now is a state of nothingness. Like, what are we? We don't even know what we are. We don't even know where we're going. We're in limbo again, and we're the Norwich of the top end of the Premier League. It's yo-yo, bro. Up, down, up, down.
You're going too far, man. You're going too far.
No, this is facts. It's flipping facts. We are up, down, bro. That's all we are. We're flipping yo-yo. Norwich and United are the same thing. Up, as in we go up to like top 4. We'll be there for a bit. We go back down into. Yeah, we was top 4 for the last 2 flipping seasons, bro. Shut up, bro.
Oh, I thought you meant this season. Okay, I understand.
No. That's 2 flipping seasons. We're up there. And then literally 2 seasons below that, we were below. Like literally, we just go up down. That's all we do. That's all we do. We're flipping Norwich at the flipping top half of the Premier League. That's all we are. Like
No, you're not.
honestly, we
that's
need
bad,
Y'all
to.
man.
wasn't saying this after the Burnley game, though. You guys know that, like,
No,
depending
listen
on
to.
the result,
Did you watch the match
the
reaction?
narrative
I
is
said this was.
different.
I just said this was. I said it was ass after Burnley. I said that's not good enough after Burnley. I said yo, Terry, you know, come on and say before I thought the game was crap.
Yes, he did.
Did
I
he?
can confirm.
I did.
So don't you call KJ a liar on this
You
platform.
call me a liar at this channel, bro. No, but I'm not done yet. Yo, listen. I'm not done. Let me please have my peace, man. I'm in pain. I need the therapy.
Okay.
But yeah, Man United right now, we are a floating boat in the middle of the ocean with no one to steer it, no one to pull in the right direction. We have no idea what's going on. Ralph Ragnick's come in, and the players have just been so comfortable, so used to being mollycoddled, so used to being gassed up, hyped up by us, by the media, by whoever, that now that we're looking to be serious and it's time to get down and dirty and gritty and show some fight, they don't want to do that. So as a club fighting for top 4, how can I expect us to fight when the players aren't fighting? How can I expect us to go forward when the players ain't willing to go forward? They're going backwards and they're not showing any sign of turning things around. Man United right now, we need to literally, it's another rebuild. How are we talking about another rebuild again? This is the issue. There's a report that just come out while this show was going. Up to 11 players are looking to leave Manchester United. That is not a sign of going on to top 4 runs. That is not a sign of building a team togetherness that can get us through adversity and hard times. So yes, we are out of it. We literally, in terms of playing on the pitch, don't look at names, don't look at how much money we spend, don't look at how much money we earn, how big the fan base, the stadium. Don't look at none of that. Look at the football. We are one of the worst teams in the flipping league, just on football alone. And you're expecting me to believe that can get top 4 when Arsenal has overtaken us in a space of a year. Spurs, in the space of a couple of months, have overtaken us by getting Conte. West Ham have overtaken us, in the space of a year. I don't think people actually understand how bad it is, and it's rotten to the core. Yeah. It's not just the players. It's not just whatever manager we get in. It is from the top down, and until that gets sorted, I've said it many times before, we are finished. We are a dead club. The ambition is gone. The owners don't care. And I'm the fool who got brought back in. When we brought in Murtaugh, I was vexed. When we had that transfer window in the summer of 2020, we brought in Cavani and Telles and all them, man, I was vexed. But I let myself get brought back in because of, some nice goals, some nice play, you know what I mean? Some nice shiny Sancho that I've been wanting for 3 years. I got all of that. I got sucked back in. I ain't doing that again. Bun that, fam. Until we're there, we suck.
But KJ,
I have a question. Go on.
No, mine's quick. I think both sides have some blame in it. So I can say that fair enough, cool. We can make the argument that even though Man United should have been in the title race, which I said they should be, regardless of whether Ollie's not there, or Ollie's there or not, they should be because of the caliber of the squad. Now that he's not there, he's obviously proven that he's not able. But what was said, and I have to say, Terry and KJ said this, so correct me if I'm wrong, and tell me if I'm lying.
He's scared to speak. He's scared to speak.
Go on.
No. But we were told as rivals that once you get someone who knows what they're doing, we would see a better Manchester United. That's what was said. We would see a better Manchester.
Yeah, and you know what, mate? We did, and I always felt when it comes to a new manager coming in, I've always kind of said and felt on many occasions I would see the football improve. But my fear is if I start seeing words like rebuild, the squad ain't ready, and what we're hearing about this team, I'm not buying into this. Ralph doesn't know who to utilize where and what. I'm seeing it from the point of view of the players don't want to work. They don't want to play his football. I think this is a conscious choice from these players to not want to play for him. And that is something I didn't expect to see based on the amount. It isn't just the club saying it. It's the amount of credible journalists from organizations such as The Athletic saying, we've been there, we've seen it, they've told us and shown us what they're rebuilding. The culture has been reset. Everyone's striving and working hard. So I allowed myself for the final time to believe that that was in place. And that's why I felt that going on to Ralph, the decision would be a step change from where we were. But I underlined it all, not as a get out, but as a fear that if they say the word rebuild, I'm panicking. Fans were saying it first. And I've seen 2, maybe 3 journalists today write articles about how Ollie's rebuild hasn't worked. It's worse than when he came in. It's all got to be started again. It flies in the face of what the club told us all 5 weeks ago when we sacked Ollie. And that's why I agree with KJ. It's not about player-wise. There's 2 things here. I want to get this out because people are trying. It's embarrassing that we're not with the amount of money we spend. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. It's embarrassing. And I'm ashamed of my football club. With the personnel we've got highly talented players. We should be in top 4 title races, in my opinion. But based on the lack of mentality, 0 standards at the club, and the fact that these players, we saw that picture today. And I think that picture spoke 1,000 words. You can catch one player, maybe 2, looking a bit miserable walking out. One of them might have a bit of a stomachache. One of them might have just passed a bit of wind and a bit like, oh. But for all 10, barring Phil Jones, to look like they didn't want to be there, nervous, disinterested, it tells me there's a deeper problem. And I think things are worse than I expected them to be. And I'm actually shocked they're as bad as this, and they're not. Like there was a story that came out. Oh, one of the Man United players had to Google Ralph Rangnick didn't know. Yeah. And I'm sort of like, I kind of get that. Like, I'm like, no, I don't get it. How can a professional footballer in the Premier League not know who Ralph Rangnick is?
Yeah,
That's either, it's. I mean, if they don't, I mean, I know who he is, and I don't really do the whole European football scene. And I still know who he is. But yeah, I agree with KJ. I think it's dead.
They're disappointed in the appointment. You know, maybe that because remember, Conte was the main word on the street, you know, and then Spurs got Conte, and then there was Zidane being thrown around. That was a big name, you know, that was who Ronaldo wanted, supposedly. Do you think that maybe there's a little bit of like, this is not, I mean, we didn't get rid of Ollie to bring in this guy that wants us to gig and press and work hard and take late trainings and all of that? It may just be a little bit of like, this is not the person that we wanted. There seems like there's a lot of player power at Man United.
Yeah, but that says
that's
it all. If they're like, oh, we didn't get rid of Ollie to bring in this guy, this other guy, it don't flipping matter. Like, you're paid to do a flipping job. I get it. Disappointment of not the guy that you wanted, cool. That's the game. After that, you got to do your flipping job. When you've worked in workplaces where you have the manager that you don't like, you cheer, you celebrate, you're out, cool, he's gone. You're a bit more happy. And then, but if you bring in another manager who's not what your first choice, it's not, oh, I'm not going to work again no more until he's gone. It's okay, cool.
Rangnick is an authoritarian. Like, and Ollie is your best friend.
I agree with you, Jess. Like, Jess, I agree with you though, to a degree, in the sense of, I don't think it's right that they're allowed to behave like that. That's one of the biggest problems at the club is player power. And Man United, the board, set this precedent back in March of 2018 when Jose Mourinho said, I want Pogba and Martial out for whatever reason. I don't care what his reasons were. And the board said no, they took the power away. If the players are allowed to behave like this and they're not reprimanded and moved on, irrespective of their stardom, Ralph's already done, even if he moves upstairs. Equally, they know he's only he's an interim manager. So it's a case of they shouldn't be rejecting an interim's ideas. They should be going upstairs. But I think one area where I'll defend the players is this. They've been pushing to play a particular way under Ollie. Ralph's the complete opposite to that. And the heaviest links to managers we've still got are Ten Hag and Poch, who play a completely different style again to Rangnick. If you're a professional for a moment, and I'm not defending them, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. If you're sitting there going, right, I've been at the club 3 years. I already played 2 different styles that took us time to adjust to. You're now asking me to bust my balls to get used to playing this style. And in the summer, I'm going to have to do that all over again. Some people will say, you're getting paid loads of money, you should just do it. And I understand that notion. But I understand the human element of some people just to think, I can't be bothered to keep changing how I'm meant to play, where I'm meant to be. I'm not suggesting it's right, but it comes back down to the mismanagement of this football club. Player power is too prevalent. There is no set system at the club of how we're going to play. And if the next manager goes in 18 months' time, we're likely to change direction again. And if you'll never create a system or a club where it's conducive, where there's consistency, and where you can all learn and move forward together. I think there are lots of moving parts to this. It isn't just one thing, and I'm not defending players or managers, but I think overall it just boils down to this club is not serious. It's not serious at all. Sorry, go on.
I got to say a few things. I think it's a little bit ridiculous. Like, I don't think, for me, you can say Man United have the caliber of players to be challenging for the title, but then in the same breath say, and I know when I say you, I don't mean you. I mean generally.
Louis like, I don't give you no allegations. I'm lying about you on this channel.
No. All I'm saying is, I don't think people, we'll say people instead of you, people in the same breath can say that Man United have the caliber of player to be challenging for the top four and to be challenging for titles, but then also in the same breath saying that players can't be bothered and players don't want to try for Ralph's system. I think football is looked at wrongly in a very black and white manner, where it's like, right, your ability and your what you can do on the football pitch is one thing, and that's all that matters. But your mentality, for me anyway, I'm someone that believes that your mentality is paramount. Your mentality is what makes you a great footballer. I mean, you look at that Chelsea team, for example. They were asked, a lot of them asked to play under Sarri, then even some under Conte and Sarri and Lampard and Tuchel, and they've listened to what Tuchel said and took him on board. I just think that the caliber of player at Man United may be incredibly talented, but the mentality is not there for me. And that is why, for me, Man United will not be serious contenders until there is a mass, like a lot of you talk about Scott McTominay, for example, of being someone that Man United need to look to get rid of. Mentality-wise, I genuinely believe he's probably one of the best in terms of his mentality at Man United, in my view. But his ability might not suit up. You need the players that are mentally there, physically there, and technically there. And for me, and it's a question for you guys, because I listened to the show yesterday, and I agree with a lot of what you've said about the root cause being the Glazers. I get it. I 100% get it. But what would you have liked to have seen differently in the summer? Because I know, again, not you guys, but a lot of people,
I hear you,
and myself included, I was thinking, Man United have done well this summer. You made good signings. What do you want to see different?
It's a great question, bruv. Sorry, Cage. It's a great question. And me and you even spoke, Louis, at the end of the summer. I would have preferred a world-class DM to Ronaldo. But I still didn't think Ronaldo was a bad signing because he scores goals. Sancho would come in. I expected more chances to be created. We weren't, even though we haven't got the best defense in the world, we weren't overly leaky as a team. The way we've played this year is just this is how nobody expected us to be this bad, because nobody predicted it. There'd be someone going, there's my tweet, there's my video. No one, not even people that hated Ollie, thought we'd be this bad. So for me, I think you're right. So I'll reiterate and rephrase what I've said, because you've made me change how I want to say it. We have players with the footballing ability to be up challenging, up near the top, winning more games, winning trophies. We lack the mentality. And I do think part of that is some individuals, but you also become a product of your environment. Me and you, well, I don't work for the company the same way you do, but we work in and around the same business with Give Me Sport and Snack. If I don't actually know who your boss is at work, but I think Martin's in control of a lot of things. If Martin and all the bosses there allowed you to miss deadlines, but still paid you, they allowed you to turn up late or go disappear and they still gave you bonuses. They allowed you to misbehave and you still didn't get in trouble. Over the course of time, your behavior would get worse. So your mentality is lacking because the bosses are letting you do it. So I understand where you're coming from. What needs to happen is they need to lay down a marker. So when you say, what do I want? I didn't think this needed to happen in the summer because I was told it was fixed. It clearly isn't. What they need to do is I don't want to see a new rebuild, but it's going to have to happen. But what they need to do is make an absolute example of a number of players and keep doing that. So that you do not say no. It doesn't matter whether you want to play Ralph's style or not. You have no choice but to play it. And if you don't want to, we're going to sit you in the stands and you can rot there for a year. They almost have to fall on their sword. They have to do something. And maybe I'm being a little bit extreme, but Pochettino at Tottenham was a master at this. All right, Danny Rose will sit in the stadium. When
Kyle Walker as well. He did it to
Kyle
Kyle
Walker.
Walker before he went.
Ericsson.
And for a period of
Yeah.
time, it worked. And he had the anonymity to do it. The board backed him. And some players still messed about, but nobody down tools.
Terry, look at Arsenal.
That's
Look
what
what
we need to
Arteta's doing. Look what
Exactly.
Arteta's doing.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
in the
Family.
same breath, Man United have done this before, and Mourinho was criticised for it in terms
No,
of the
see,
way
this
he
is the,
treated
but this is different. So coming out publicly, what Mourinho did, moaning about a man getting his kid being going to a thing, is different. What you've got to remember is at that time when Jose snapped, I understood Jose's reasoning because he got undermined by the club. He went to the board and said, "I want these players gone." They said no. He wanted them out for non-footballing reasons to a degree, but said it was impacting his team. He then had to manage a squad where two of the best and most powerful players had won the battle over him. He lost control of that room. The point is, the board should have, right? I wanted both to stay, by the way, but what they should have done is gone, okay, Jose, because they gave him full control of the club, they had to let him do that. If Fergie would have gone to the board and gone, Yapstam's got to go, and they went, no, he's staying, Fergie, shut up. If David Beckham's got to leave, distraction, no, Beckham's staying, shut up. Eventually, Fergie would have lost control of the dressing room. He's not in control. I don't know if any of you lead people at work. If you try and sack someone and then someone above you comes in and overrules you, you've got to walk into that workforce the next day with them going, you're not in control, are you? That's what Man United are. The players are in control for large parts of things. Ollie tried coming in and doing it his way, where he was being their friend and doing things. And it yielded a respect for him, and we did okay, but they still didn't have the push to burst through those barriers at the right. And yesterday was a great example. It was a gateway game. Arsenal would drop points. Spurs had won. Chelsea and Liverpool would drop points. A great way of laying down a bit, putting the first good performance for over 90 minutes in under Ralph, getting those 3 points, closing in on top four and saying, listen, don't write us off. But it's one of the worst performances we've had in 9 years, but we saw that consistently under every single manager. Those gateway.
Gotta stop letting players sack managers. Like,
no, but Terry,
but
Terry and KJ though. The reason why Chelsea's player power has been tolerated is because we've still managed to win trophies, and these players, these experienced players, have managed to almost win trophies themselves and in some occasions. Why are these same caliber and quality players not able to win for you guys? Like, why can't you win? Because you haven't been good.
It's because they come here for joke. They come here for vibes. Like they come here for the peas. Like they say they come here to make a name for themselves, the legendary status, but they clearly don't, because performances yesterday don't happen. You know what I mean? It's because they've come into an environment where whatever say it goes, like they are free to do these things. Like even the players at Chelsea, they knew. Even they made the player power, even though they get a manager sacked, they knew Roman will ship their ass out real quick if they ain't performing. Whereas United,
you don't get new contracts. At Man United, you can
listen,
play
Man
out
United,
and still get new
Phil
contracts.
Jones, the reason why Phil Jones even started yesterday's game is because he was still flipping here. Why was he still here? The reason why we've got a bloated squad and it's hard, and the excuses are we've got too much players, we can't bring any new, refresh the squad, we can't do none of that. It's because you've got Juan Mata, Matic, Lingard, Paul Pogba, who's been wanting to leave, Martial, who wants to leave. They're still here.
Who gave Phil Jones? What contract does he have? Like, who gave him an extension?
Literally, I think this is his final. This is his final year. We gave him a 4-year contract.
Can I say something just really quick?
Yes, I'll come to you in a second. Sorry, I just want to go back to Dan's point as well. Sorry. You make a good challenge there. The difference is Roman doesn't care about what you look like commercially to a degree. Like, you'll have commercial people that care about that. Roman cares about one thing at Chelsea: winning. If you guys are performing like that, I know Roman ain't been in the country for a while, but he'd be in the training ground. He'd be up people's backsides. Do you think? I don't even think the Glazers know what the result was last night. They ain't checking. There's no standard. Like, one thing I got told about when you start running your own business is you need to be present at all times to make sure everybody is delivering what you want. You can't just go sit on a beach and let someone run your business from afar. It always fails, and that's what Man United are. We are a failing, dying, or maybe already dead giant. But yeah, sorry, Jess. Sorry.
No, all I was going to say is that I caught a little bit of heat yesterday because we were talking about Man United and they were like, how can you talk about Man United? Arsenal are the same. And I was like, that's how I can talk about it. This is it. They're exactly the same. Man United and Arsenal are exactly the same. And we may not have ever gotten the same level of players that you guys did, but make no mistake about it, the Aubameyang's and Ozils and these guys, that Mustafis, all of that, that's the same as some of the guys that you guys have. They're just getting paid more. I know what it looks like because I've seen it before. You need to get rid of a lot of those guys. And again, would not be surprised if by the end of the season, Ranić went through that academy, picked out some kids, and started playing them, because sometimes those are the only guys that will do it for the shirt. You don't have enough people doing it for the shirt.
And to Terry's point as well, if you look at compared to United to Arsenal, I'm not sitting here saying the Cronkies are great, because they're not. Like the Cronkies, the Glazers, KSE, they're all pagans. I don't care what anyone says. All of them should be out of the football game because they piss me off. But Enoch as well. Sorry, Enoch as well. So I can't forget Spurs. But the difference between Cronkies and the Glazers, at least Stan Kroenke sent his son over here, and he's here. You know what I mean? He's at games. He's in meetings. He's driving. I saw him vibing to Adele. You know what I mean? Like he's in the country, bro. He's present. He is present. We ain't got no one. All we got right now is flipping Woodward, who shouldn't be here, but he's still here. And Arnold. These are the men running the club, and they're not true representatives of the ownership. They're just puppets.
I think me and Jess have had this conversation on the Straight Facts podcast. Remember, 4 p.m. tomorrow night, the next episode of Straight Facts. Make sure you're tuning in. You know, we spoke about this with Arsenal in terms of there's been progression. There's things to praise Arsenal about. What I don't do is go the full hog. Actually, the owners are great. We're wrong about this. You ain't going to know whether Arsenal's owners have truly changed their tune for 3 or 4 years. It takes a long time because you need to see how they react to if Arsenal regress from this point. You have to see how they react if Arsenal make the top 4. You have to see how they react if they get a major, I'm just hypothetical, so everyone calm down, not you guys, the viewers. If they're in a title race next year and then they get a major injury in December, do they go into the January window and buy, as an example? It's only after you get tested as owners that you see where people, like with me, I kind of got off their backs a little bit, barring Super League, when they were talking about the rebuild and what they're doing, because I was like, okay, I've moaned about it for 5-6 years. They're telling me they're doing the things I want. Let me now sit back and see the fruits of the labor. I always knew when we would see it is when a new manager comes in. It's when it exposes all the cracks and weaknesses. And we're going back to square one. And it's a case of that's when Arsenal fans in their situation will know. Arteta makes top 4. Do you go again in the transfer market and maybe add this time 2 or 3 higher quality caliber players in whatever? Do you go out and try and break the bank for a Declan Rice level midfield player? I'm not saying Declan Rice per se. Someone else that comes in and elevates it to the next level. You know, do you go out and do they do that? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. You have to still. So that's when we know. And Man United's owners are and always will be the biggest problem. And every other scenario that everyone paints to me about, but this player issue, this coach issue, this issue, I'm like, yeah, who employed them, who gave them the contract, who lets it happen? There's no way out of it for me. It's the same mistakes continuously. But viewers, we do want your views. Who's making the top 4? You can click on the links in the descriptions or go into your Bet Victor app now. These are the current odds, as you can see. Liverpool massively odds on there at 1-50 on. Chelsea 1-25 on, and then Man United 7-4. Tottenham still in front of Arsenal in this right now at 2-1, and Arsenal at 9-4. So if you're a Gooner and you really fancy it, go and give it a go. Up next on the show, we are previewing the Carabao Cup, semi-final games this weekend. Smash that like button. Let's do this. I'm seeing a lot of comments from people saying free Gal. Gal's not banned from the terrace. I don't know where you're coming from.
He's scared. He's scared to return.
No, he's not scared to return. We spoke on the phone last night.
No. Spoke on the phone. You were like, don't you dare lie about me on my channel again.
I've sacrificed everything.
Terry, we need the breaking news slider. Fabrizio has just come in with something.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Hang on.
What's happening?
About what?
The guy's been banned from the football terrace.
I'm checking my phone, bro. I was ready.
I thought something had happened there. I thought something was on the horizon. We're gonna talk Chelsea Tottenham first of all, mainly because we don't know if the other game's going ahead as of now. How are you feeling, Patty, about this game, bro? Big game for you. Opportunity of a final. You're playing well, winning games. Chelsea have been spluttering and falling over themselves. Where's your head at for this first leg tie?
I'm excited, man. I think it's a really good test for us tomorrow. Go down to the bridge, obviously play against a really good team. I know Chelsea haven't been in great form, but they are still a top team. And anyone that thinks otherwise is gonna, is stupid, really. So it's a good test for us. We're in good form. I think people are not really taking notice of how well we are doing at the moment. Like since Conte's come in, we've pretty much, other than Man City, we're the most informed team. So it's going to be a really good game. Like both sets of semi-finals are, top games. You got Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham. So you pretty much got the cream of the crop right now. Obviously, barring City. It's going to be a good game, man. I'm looking forward to it. Like I really want us. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how we do against Chelsea over 2 legs.
How about yourself, Dan? Are you confident? I mean, I'm going to say this before, and I'll say it again. You're playing Spurs in a semi-final. You must be overly confident.
Look, I don't know. It depends on how you want to take it. Could come back and bite me in the ass. But I genuinely believe we'll win the League Cup. I obviously wrote an article at the beginning of the season where I said the League Cup was one of the trophies that I genuinely believed that we'd win this year. And obviously, not that it would break any groundbreaking stuff. Tuchel wins the League Cup. It doesn't really affect him, but fam, silverware. You want to stat pad your resume as much. I mean, there's one of the greatest managers of all time who's still yet to win a League Cup in his time in England. So, hey, it's definitely something that's maybe a bit difficult to win. But specific to the game, look, Tottenham are playing well. Conte is doing what Conte does. There's been ugly wins. There's been good wins. By the end of the day, as long as you're getting points on the board, that's the most important thing. And that's what Conte teams do. They get points on the board. It'll be interesting to see how he reacts to Chelsea in the way that we play. Obviously, it'll be another team that plays a very good back 5 system, back 3, whatever you want to call it. It won't be like Liverpool where you could easily counter. So it'll be interesting to see how the counter attack works. Obviously, being at the stadium as well tomorrow, which should be exciting. Get to see it firsthand. But I'm expecting a win, man. I am expecting a win. I won't even try and sugarcoat it or cover it up. Like, I think it will be a surprise if Tottenham beat us over 2 legs. It means that you would have outclassed us, in my opinion. And that's what it's going to take, I think. Regardless of our form, I think it will take a Conte masterclass for Tottenham to win. And I don't think that's far-fetched. However, I still do believe we have one of the best coaches and one of the best teams to handle this. I mean, and I think, don't you think it's just a bit written for Lukaku to score tomorrow? Like, it's a bit.
No,
like,
I don't. I think it's written that Eric Dyer shackles him, keeps him quiet.
not with his COVID. He has to isolate, doesn't he?
Oh man, Sanchez, yeah.
Nah, like
The storylines are so good in this one. The storylines are amazing.
It's so
Conte
good.
versus Chelsea, Lukaku
it.
versus Conte. Like,
Yeah.
it's good things, but just like, I don't know if I could just say my 2 cents. It's very short and sweet. I need Chelsea to win like I need air. Like, there is just no way. If Tottenham get to that final, they're gonna freaking win it. And even though it's the League Cup, they're gonna and I don't want to get to the want to get to the final against Spurs.
I think it will be a Tottenham.
I'll be Chelsea blue tomorrow.
Oh, now listen.
True.
We
That
need
ain't happening.
no. The timeline, the TL, Twitter need a London derby final for the small. It's funny as well. For the
remember what we said
for the smallest cup in England.
KJ, remember what we said? What were we saying? What was the biggest narrative? What was it, last season or 2 years ago? Yeah, it's gonna be a Man United Arsenal Europa League final. It is definitely gonna be that.
I didn't want it.
It wasn't even close.
No, but the thing is that was never going to be close, isn't it? Because like
and neither team even won it anyway.
Oh, listen, yeah, both of sucks. But this is the thing, yeah, just for the TL, for the carnage. Think about this: the smallest trophy that they could get out of the 3. You got Spurs and Arsenal battling
if
it out.
Win that, they will hold it over Arsenal forever.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
yes,
it would be more about keeping them from winning something than for like us to win it.
I'll be honest. I make Chelsea favourites for both legs because again, the pedigree of winning trophies versus Spurs has to come into play here, and more recent as well. But I want a North London final as well. North London derby final. I don't know what the right word for it is, but it's almost like it's a beautiful nightmare of a game. The toxicity, the energy, the angst, the pressure. And we're doing watch-alongs by then. We'll be in the studio.
I'll be sweating, boy.
I'll be sweating. A beautiful thing. We've got to fly Jess over for that in there because honestly, like it would be astronomical. The problem is though, I see Chelsea over 2 legs not giving you a battering because you've been quite resolute with Antonio Conte, but I just see maybe an element of Spursy coming back into play here. Maybe
I feel like they've got it. You know.
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised everyone's writing us off, man. I think
I'm going for Tottenham.
Honestly, like, I'm being deadly serious. I've called Arsenal. I think Arsenal are going to win it overall. But I can see both Arsenal and Spurs overcoming these two bigger teams just for the fact that they've got bigger fish to fry. Like
one-off games, I would have agreed with you lot, but not over 2 legs. I'm sorry,
you see the way Chelsea came back against Liverpool. I mean, I think because they've had some weirdish form, we're underestimating the levels here. I think Spurs. I think it's going to be close. But I think it's weird to just write off Chelsea. I mean, the only thing that really I think it's weird. Like Chelsea had British form, but they came back. No
one's written off Chelsea. No one's written off Chelsea.
Patrick, I'm actually coming for you.
There you go.
I'll tell you why. I watched one of the previous Bet Victor shows. Yeah, I watched one of the previous Bet Victor shows, and I blame Terry too for fueling Patrick's drive. Yes, you, Terry Flores. I blame you too. It was Chelsea versus Aston Villa, and I was hearing the blasphemy that I was hearing on the football terrace was unbelievable. Oh, I think Aston Villa are going to do it, you know. I think Aston Villa are actually going to walk us off the park, you know. Yeah, Aston Villa.
I never said that. I said that Aston Villa would give you a game.
What am I hearing?
Nah, it's not a write-off thing. It's not a write-off thing.
It is a write-off thing.
It's not. I'm not saying you're going to get...
Quote me. We are not losing. Over 2 legs, we are not.
Terry, clip this right now. I feel that Tottenham are going to beat them over 2 legs.
We are not losing. We are not.
Chelsea are a good team, yes, but you haven't been in great form recently, and you have lost to worse teams than us. I don't see why.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Patrick.
Astounded that we can beat you over 2 legs.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. If we were in great form, wouldn't you still say you think we could? You think you could win?
Even if I would say it's tough. Obviously, it would be harder, but I think right now is the perfect time to play you lot. The perfect time.
We'll see.
Can I just say something really quick? I mean, I don't think maybe it's not allowed because you guys haven't really lost a game since Conte has come in. I don't think you guys have played that great of football. Like, I think it's pretty similar to what I've seen. And so I think when you guys come up against a really good team, like Chelsea, I mean, I'm not even trying. I know it's taboo to say it, but like, you guys barely beat what's their names? What was
the
narrative you came up against a really good team. You came up against a Liverpool team. Like, let's be real, that midfield was rank. That one that you guys came up against, and then ever since then, you guys have played ass teams. Like, Chelsea is not in there.
Hang on. Have you just tried to compare Ndombele, as in the guy that was like the next coming of Jesus Christ for 60 minutes?
Come on.
He can't even run up and down the pitch, Patrick. Come on.
That's what I'm saying. We started Ndombele, Harry Winks, and Dele Alli. That is not a good midfield.
They started
Morton.
Morton.
It's not. Yeah. Did you see that kid? What's the kid's name in your team? Number 8. My God.
Listen. No. There's no way any Liverpool fan will say, I'm swapping like Harry Winks for Morton. They're taking Morton, bro. Guaranteed.
Come on.
No.
I'm smiling because he knows.
That Liverpool team still had Trent. It still had Martin.
That's a lie. Stop lying.
You don't like that what you did there.
No, you had Paul Tierney as well.
And you also should have had a man sent off early off in that game. Like, come on.
You had Paul Tierney in his nice little cinch shirt.
What I like about what you did there is that you've been beating arse teams. And I remember when a few people, when Arsenal on their like 12 game, like you beat bad teams. You're like, no, you got to give us damn respect, man. We did it. Get crunked here. Like, you're mental.
Okay,
You got
nobody
proper
says
radio.
crunk. I've never
I
said
don't
that.
know.
Give me respect.
On the real one, you just I know they haven't been playing fantastic football, but this is the cup, baby. You know what I mean? You don't have to play great football in the
That's why I
cup.
back
You
us,
saw
though.
Chelsea win the Champions League over 2
Don't
legs
do that.
in many
Stop
games.
doing that. I still don't. Why are we still doing this? Don't do that. No, you will trigger me about that. That if you want to trigger
Stop
me,
biting. Stop
if you
biting.
want to trigger me,
Stop biting.
call us the worst
you've got to win
Champions
now,
League
Daniel.
champions, because that triggers me. I think it's just mind-boggling how people say that.
Easy run though, bruv. Easy run.
Yeah,
Easy run.
exactly. Of course.
Yeah, easy
But
run.
Yeah.
2 legs. I'm sorry. Look, let's
go.
break
2
it
legs.
down.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm so looking forward to it.
Of course, you would be looking forward to it. It's a day out for you guys, man. Like
a day out.
I'm telling you now. I think we will win this competition.
I think first.
I think
Oh yeah. Can we? I've got a question. Louis.
Yeah.
Can you tell me how it feels as a
I know
Liverpool
the
fan?
question as well.
Oh yeah, as a Liverpool fan, how you man feel knowing that you're trying to duck Arsenal and the Arsenal smoke by using COVID as an excuse?
Honestly, behave.
I mean,
behave,
CV.
behave.
Klopp's under pressure, Louis.
Oh, he's sweating, bro. He's sweating.
Listen, the only reason Klopp's sweating, he's sweating is because the guy's got COVID and has the night.
CV.
It's not. You can't use that word on streams.
Can't use
You can't
what?
use it.
CV.
Yeah, just we say CV.
Oh.
Just say CV.
Yeah. CV.
Sorry. Okay, that's the only reason he's sweating.
Nah,
People
bro.
need
Nah,
to stop.
he is.
People
You
need
don't
to
want the
stop with
Arsenal
this
smoke.
narrative. Like Liverpool have invented postponing fixtures.
Wait, Louis. You know, right? You agree with this? Klopp not winning an FA Cup and League Cup in his time at Liverpool would be a major disappointment. You know that, right?
I disagree with Major, but it'd be a disappointment for sure.
What did you make on what Jamie Carragher said about how like you need more trophies for basically to build a proper legacy?
Yeah.
I agree. I think that we need, listen, I as a Liverpool fan have always wanted to win more. Listen, as you guys say, a trophy is a trophy. Like the Club World Cup is like it's nothing really. No, I'm saying it's nothing really. But when we won that, I was like, okay, good. Like it's nice to win that silverware. When we beat Chelsea in the Super Cup, it's nice to win that trophy. I'd say the same about the League Cup and the FA Cup. I've always remained consistent though, is that if it comes down to it and you've got a big Premier League game that weekend, say for example, with this Arsenal game was going ahead and we had Chelsea at the weekend, I'd say rest your players. Because the Premier League has to be the priority for me. I know now it's slightly different because Liverpool are probably out the title race along with Chelsea, but you still got to win where you can. So I've always remained consistent in the fact that winning trophies is great and it's a bonus. But for me, the two main ones are the Premier League and the Champions League. And if you have to rest in a Carabao Cup game to ensure that you win a big Premier League game, then for me, that's a sacrifice.
You know what I think?
Sorry, go on, Cage.
I think Klopp heard Jamie Carragher and those comments. I was like, rah, man needs to win the cup.
Well,
I don't think.
I ain't got the players fit right now. So yo,
Louis,
CV, bro.
Louis, I like what you've done there, though. Sorry, go on, Jay.
No, I was gonna say is they're gonna postpone it, and you guys are like decimated at the moment. This would have been the perfect time, honestly, to play you guys. I would have there's no shame in my game. I'm not one of those. It's like, oh, I want to play them when they're at their peak. Hell no. I'll play the kids. No Salah, no money, none of that. I don't care.
We have 15 COVID cases.
What I'm saying is by the time we play you, we'll be decimated, and you guys are playing your strong team, and I'm gonna be one mad girl. I'm telling you that right now.
I think so as well. When you look at it, I was trying to look at the fixture list when they could replay it. It's probably going to be the following week because you then literally have like a Premier League week. Sorry,
the following week.
Sorry,
is in the week after. Is it what the follow? Is in next week or the week after?
Or is it?
So next week is when the second leg's meant to be. So you're going to have to play your first leg next week, and then there's another clear midweek the following week. That's where it's going to have to be. What I'm saying is because you then start moving forward, they're already scheduling Champions League nights where there's no Premier League football for Premier League repeats. You end up in a situation where it's all jokes. I don't think Liverpool are trying to put it off on purpose because actually you're going to create a bigger bottleneck for yourself, which actually means with your thin squad, it's even less games. Although you may have Mane and Salah back, but it's going to be interesting. Guys, we're going to talk Liverpool thingy later. We've still got to finish the bit on Chelsea and everything else. We've kind of gone deviated. So I've got to bring it back.
I thought we were done, bro. Sorry.
I thought we were done too.
Whoa, how many BV shows you done? We ain't done score predictions yet. What are you man talking about? Come on. Wise up. Do your job right. Do your job right if you want to get paid. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? Do your job right. I mean, message. Right. What we saying here, Jess?
We get paid for this.
No, you don't.
No. What is it?
Listen, I nearly called you Karen then, Jess, because people are writing Karen Klopp in the comments.
Karen?
No, they're right. Karen Klopp in the section, you know. Karen Klopp everywhere. I had the word Karen in my head. Jay, what's your score prediction for the first leg game?
2-1 Chelsea.
2-1 Chelsea. Not bad guess. What are you saying, KJ?
I'm going to go with a good result for Spurs, 1-1.
Ooh, that's 1-1. What are you saying, Lulu?
I agree with KJ, 1-1 as well.
1-1. Patty?
Yeah, 1-1 at Stamford Bridge, and we bang them up at
the old toilet, bro.
We're going to go with the 1-1 because a lot of people have gone for 1-1 there. I'm going to stick. Oh, hang on a minute. I've made a little boo-boo. I've not logged in yet, so I'm going to do this. You'll see my login details. Even though they star it out, I don't want to give away passwords and whatever.
Do your job right. You want to get
I know, right? You want to get paid, Terry. Do your job right, man.
What you don't ever come on my platform and disrespect.
I've been called Karen and everything else. Like, this has been crazy.
Right.
That's the
£5.
The biggest insult for an American, isn't it? To be called Karen.
Yeah. There we go. That's locked in. £5 on the 1-1 draw.
Oh, that's my ex, nigga. Fuck you.
We can hear that.
That ain't me. That ain't my
That wasn't me.
That was you. That was you, Jess.
No, it wasn't.
I heard an American.
Michael Bublé.
That's
Bublé song.
No, it wasn't.
Definitely wasn't.
Daniel.
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
It was Louis. Louis admitted. Now he's going, no, it wasn't.
It was Louis. It was definitely. It was definitely.
Was it Louis?
I don't listen. No.
Hey, Daniel, you're getting this channel lock off, you know. Look what you're doing, bro. Mute your mic.
Wow.
100% Daniel. Oh,
There we go. Right, that's done. That bet's in. Channel's done. Channel's cancelled. My job's over. And back to Barclays Bank now. Yeah, can I come back, please? Not cancelled. Someone play a song. You know what I mean? Done for a song. Up next, we're talking. Viewers, remember, you can get your score predictions in as well. We will place your bets for you if you super chat them in. Up next, we're talking Liverpool against Arsenal. Jess, I might not go ahead, so it's really hard to talk about, but how are you feeling about playing Liverpool in this game? Do you fancy yourself to beat them?
Yeah, if we play them right now, when everything is like this, I think we could beat them. I think we're right in there. I think it's a good time to play them. They have so many other things to think about. So, yeah, and Klopp doesn't care about this allegedly. So, yeah, I would say after, Man City performance and all that kind of stuff that I could see us going, Liverpool is a little bit of a different kettle of fish than Man City, but still, I think we could do something. This postponement is just pissing me off. I'm sorry. I know COVID is, sorry, not that. CV is serious and all of that. But when you think about it from a footballing perspective, this would be perfect. But I think we could beat them.
I think so too. And that's why Klopp's ducking, bro. You know what I mean? He's ducking the fight.
Arsenal at home as well. I just looked at it. I'm looking at it Arsenal should be able to beat them right now, man. I think Arsenal will
Guys.
bang them up as well.
Listen.
Klopp's been walking
not
around
too far.
Norwood. Well, he's been walking around the dressing room breathing on everyone, hasn't he? You know what I mean?
You're like, it ain't happening. He's like, it ain't happening. It
Come
ain't
give me a
happening.
You know he loves the cuddle. He's been cuddling for ages this time. Like, come here.
I gotta say though, like, listen, if the game went ahead, if the game does go ahead tomorrow or on Thursday, 4-5, 6-0, probably, because it'd be the kids.
Oh, shut
Look,
up.
guys.
No, come on.
Guys,
No,
with
come on.
16 COVID cases on top of injuries,
Oh, stop it, man.
we would be playing 12-year-olds.
This is what you lot do, man.
Yeah,
You lot always try to cushion the
Victim
blow
FC.
all the
Yeah,
time, man.
guys,
I
guys,
saw
guys,
Liverpool
so
account
boring.
saying, "Oh, we have
It's
to
so
play this
boring.
team twice in like a span of 7 days. We have to play this Arsenal team
Wait,
twice."
that
That
Man City
on
match.
thick. Like
Guys,
That Man
guys,
City match got
guys.
them shook, bruv. Like
I
they
know.
are shook. Klopp, I'm telling you.
And then we've got to go to Shrewsbury where they don't have hot showers. How will they survive?
You've all had your
Karen
waffling.
Klopp, Karen Klopp.
Listen. You can Karen Klopp him all you want.
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you, Klopp walked
This
in that
guy
dressing room.
hasn't invented CV.
Oh, nah. Oh,
This
no,
guy
Louis,
hasn't
Klopp-
in. Oi. This guy hasn't invented self-isolation. This guy hasn't invented COVID testing, CV testing players.
Yeah.
This guy hasn't invented postponing fixtures. This is the same thing and you know what? It's actually devaluing all of your arguments when you have legitimate issues with Klopp and his moaning. When you moan at him about stuff like this, because this is beyond his control.
Louis, can I just say something to you?
Go on.
We were
If you take the piss, I will leave.
joking.
But it's not funny.
No, it is. Listen, Klopp, yeah, no, Klopp, listen. You've had your time. And listen. Klopp walked into that dressing room, yeah, with his CV self, yeah, and said, "Y'all living here with Sutton." You know what I mean? Like, from down the way, y'all leaving here with Sutton.
I can imagine him, right? All right, it's enough hugs now, Klopp. No, I'm getting in the showers with him. I'm there just looking, holding his soap. You know what I mean? More of my sponge. Do you know what I mean? He didn't really. He definitely didn't do that. He cares about player welfare. It's a joke.
Allegedly.
Now, what would be pathetic is if you guys it does go ahead and you guys play some ranked squad and we still lose.
Yeah, that would be like Everton. What Everton did last season.
You did that 2 years ago. 4-4 penalties, and you let I don't know what happened.
You got close. No, but did they lose? Did they lose that game?
It was 5-5.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, that was. And then Klopp was pissed because he wanted to be out.
Trying to go out. So I feel like confident-ish, but it's still Arsenal, and we still have a little bit of that in the tank. But yeah, we'll see.
Oh, but yeah, man like Prime's in the comments says, Louis, comedy is subjective. It may not be funny to you, but it's definitely funny to us.
Yes, Prime.
It's not funny. It's not funny. Listen, if it was funny, I would have laughed, but it wasn't funny, so I didn't.
All right, Pep.
COVID. It's a dire situation at Liverpool.
Oh God,
dire.
Yeah,
let's be honest now.
We should null and void the season. And start again in August, and we'll be good.
Yeah.
Now y'all don't want to play anymore because you're out of the title race. I see how this goes.
Nah, they don't want Arsenal smoke, man. They saw that Man City game and was like, right, not today.
Arsenal play against, even if they played Liverpool's best team with the form Liverpool were in, if Arsenal
Martinelli against Trent, yo. I'm loving
that. Right now, Martinelli would have him on toast.
Guys, we fucked them 4-0 like 3 weeks ago.
It's a new day.
There are levels to this.
You know, that's one thing I will say though. Like when it comes to Arsenal v Liverpool, like every time we think Arsenal will be in the game, like Liverpool just blow them away. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just think.
Yeah, but right now, it's a different story.
Do you know what's mad?
No Salah,
Every time we say Arsenal, tell me they always come through. Like, do they always?
No.
I don't think so.
The judge. No, you gotta remember the judge.
We don't always come through, but we do well against certain teams, like Chelsea. We do well against you guys when things are Man City, we're all right. Liverpool, we never do well. It's something about the way that they play and the way that we play that just don't go. But if there was ever a chance for us to get something,
this is it.
It's now.
That's why I'm worried.
I look at this way. Arsenal have definitely got a chance. Irrespective of whether the game this week goes ahead or not, Arsenal have got a chance in this because I still don't see Liverpool playing their full strength team if players weren't away. I still see an element of rotation. There's Arsenal for me have to win this because this is a great opportunity at silverware. One of only 2 options at silverware this year. You don't have European football, so this whole you don't have to worry about the games that are coming up and resting and rotating as much. You played less games this season than Liverpool due to not being in Europe, and I mean all that with respect. So there is and also a little bit of pressure on Arsenal, not in a like a gargantuan way, but it's like, okay, like you're moving forward, you're up against a depleted squad. What can you? I'm really intrigued to see. That's why I'm a bit gutted. Like, listen, on a real level, like if it's off for the reasons, I hope everybody's well and safe and everything else. But like, I really hope that I want to see it go ahead because I'm intrigued by it. Mainly, again, because I want Arsenal to go through because I want that North London derby.
You know what? I was just gonna say something. I'm not gonna say it. I will.
You're Jess. Why are you always upset when people back your team? No. When people, why are you always listen? Why are you always upset? Why are you always upset when we back your team, bro?
Because it's gonna be funny to the neutral to watch us.
Why am I going to sit here?
Of course it is. Watching a North London derby final, of course it's going to be fun. Like,
that's going to be nice.
Intriguing to watch. I'm telling you now, the world will come to a footballing world will come to a standstill the day, and it may not happen for 10, 20 years. But if Man United and Liverpool have played in League Cup finals, they've played in FA Cup finals, and they are always a very pressurized game. The next level for us now is to meet in a Champions League. And that's where it's got. And I don't. Have Arsenal and Spurs ever met in a final?
No, not that I can remember.
It's the first one, and it's a different. I just want to see what it's like, and it'll be the first time I can remember two the biggest 2 rivals of each other meeting in a final in the social media era of football as well.
It needs to happen.
Peak. It's going to be peak.
I don't think I'll survive. Like that's why I don't like when we played Chelsea in the FA Cup final. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack.
I think the closest game we've come to. I think the closest game we've come to in the social media era is probably Baku. Baku was peak.
Because we've had like City and Chelsea in the Champions League final, but with all due respect, there was like one team and a team with that. You know, we've had all the City fans on this channel. Do you know what I mean? So there isn't a big noise, and I mean that nicely. And then you obviously had Liverpool versus Tottenham. But Tottenham let us down because Tottenham went into that final and then we've already won because we got here, guys. Woo!
They sacked their manager before the final, bro.
Oh, yeah, Sissoko was doing hey, mom, you see me here?
Champions League final, bro. Sissoko ruined that final in like the first minute of the game.
I do feel for him. He was pointing and the ball just happened to hit him in his armpit. I feel for him, bro.
I mean, Liverpool, honestly, one of the luckiest finals the club will ever.
That was one of the worst finals I've ever watched in my life.
Do you know why it was? Do you know what it was? It's because like the Champions League final that year for some reason was like 2-3 weeks after the Premier League season was done.
There was a long break. There was a long
break.
Like
it was mad rusty.
Guys, have you all got? Are you all sitting in boats?
Yo, does it sound like we're?
No, just with the amount of tears being shed right now, I'm worried if you guys can keep. I tell you what.
The comedy there, my brother. The comedy.
I tell you what. With the exception of Daniel, get into the chance to win the Champions League, and then come to the conversation.
I've won it 3 times, mate.
You're you're talking about Justin and Patrick here, bro.
I'm talking recently.
I knew Louis was thinking of a joke. I knew you were thinking of a joke. You sat there for 6.5 minutes, 37 seconds quiet, right in. What can I do?
It took time.
Do you want to? I'll lend you a pen next time, bro. You can write it down. But I'm only joking with you. On a real level, also that year as well, what happened? The semi-finals were so good The final
Yeah.
is always going to be a disappointment. I had tears in my eyes when Tottenham scored that
Same.
goal.
Like, I was happy.
For my dad is a Spurs fan, and like he's getting on a bit now. And I was like,
this
oh, my
story
dad
again.
might get to see his Champions League in his lifetime. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I'm scared my dad's gonna die without one, and she's smiling about it. That's great. Do you know what I mean? And oh my God, like, my dad's gonna die without one. And when that went in, I was like just cheering for my dad, really watching it. And then they went all Spursy again. And in the end, I was like, do you know what? My dad can just die happy now, and his club are small. Do you know what I mean? There you go, Dad. Not that he's on
I
the
will
way
admit,
out yet.
it was
healthy,
the worst
but
Champions League final I've ever seen.
Yeah,
And
it
the
was
penalty
awful,
shouldn't have been a penalty. But there was only
Yeah,
ever one
yeah,
team winning
100%.
that
Oh, wait, listen, but the thing is, I wanted Spurs to win it just so that Arsenal fans could never chat to Spurs again.
No way.
One of my best friends is an Arsenal fan, and he came round to my house that day. He was like, I need a favor. I'm like, what? He's like, give me a Liverpool shirt. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, just give me a Liverpool shirt.
Hang on a minute.
The guy went home wearing a Liverpool shirt.
Hang on. And I do hope that you are no longer his friend. That is disgusting.
Yeah, I could never do
that. I'm getting a rant moment again.
I was like, the finger is coming back up and shaking.
He did what? The slag? I hope his mum and dad kicked him out the house. That is absolutely atrocious.
He said he would, so because the Europa League game was a couple of days before.
Yeah.
He said he would rather lose that and have Tottenham lose the Champions League game than have both teams win.
a lot of fans.
That was always because you win the Europa League and then a week later Spurs win the Champions League.
It don't matter. It's finished. It's finished.
You're done.
Doesn't matter.
You're done.
It's the exact same reason why whenever Liverpool or Chelsea, City in the last few years have looked like they could do quadruples, I've been petrified because the quadruple gazumps the treble. Don't matter if we do the treble twice, the quadruple is better. If Tottenham win the Champions League before Arsenal do, Arsenal will need to have 3 or 4 to their 1 before they can brag over them because they were the first ones to do it, and it's so important. Yeah, that was pretty bad. What I'd love is, it's again, I don't want it to happen because probably some of our teams will miss out. But can you imagine an Arsenal Tottenham Champions League final would be the best? That would be.
I can promise you.
Right.
I can
if
promise
we ever get to the
is...
stage where they're both in the Champions
exactly,
League,
bro. I can promise you in my lifetime that is never.
What? It's coming a lot quicker than you guys think. So
look at Jess fighting talk.
We're coming.
We're coming. You know what Jess was? It is.
We're in the kitchen.
You're not in Europe.
KJ, have Arsenal and Tottenham ever even been in the quarterfinals of the Champions League together?
They've never been together, I don't think.
Listen, remember when they had a little bit of a tighter rest between them and they both fell off and then the flipping Leicester won it anyway, bro. Beautiful.
It could be the first Champions League final ever where no one wins. Do you know what I mean?
No one wins.
And you draw, you can share the trophy.
No, literally. But don't you remember though when Danny Welbeck scored that header against Leicester, Arsenal won. Everyone said Arsenal winning the Premier League. Like it was done. Done and done.
Yeah, I remember.
How has this become the every time Arsenal has failed show?
Was that the first? That's when he first started supporting Arsenal after that World Cup, wasn't it?
He's just like, oh my God, Welbeck. Oh yeah.
That's not my the day that calm down because the next time we come on the show, I'm gonna do an impression of you guys, and you're not gonna like it.
Oh, do it now. Do it right now. Just do it right now. Right now.
Yeah.
No, I need to practice.
Terry's quite easy.
No, I'm not going to come out here like you guys all unpracticed because I don't even sound like that.
Wait, KJ, I know you're from Birmingham, so can you do an English accent, bruv?
Hell no, fam.
Right, we've got some super chats to do before we do the score predictions here. I've not been ignoring them. We've saved them. Mr. Terry and KJ, I told you guys in 2018 about the Glazers' Man United football heritage. I bought Delo, Lindelof and Bailly. Ollie bought Maguire and AWB. I prefer not to. This is someone who's claiming to be Jose Mourinho. Enigma says, how is Arsenal the softest team since Wenger is the first to reach 100 red cards? This tin foil hat is heavy.
Granite jacket.
Granite jacket is like 60% of them.
Arsenal in the early years under Wenger got a lot of red cards because they were a feisty, strong team full of men. And it's a compliment. Maybe not in this day and age, but it's a compliment. Okay, very controversial question. Do you think that Cristiano Ronaldo is actually making Man United worse? Because Chiellini said that Juve are worse when Ronaldo joined.
He hasn't made us worse, but he's not helped.
No, can I say something? Do you know why I'm gonna say no? I disagree with you, KJ, because remember when you guys were all doing up fancy because Inter Milan said Dzeko. Oh yeah, the lies about Dzeko being looking better and whatnot. It's the same thing here. It's the exact same thing.
He says one apology, Lukaku, and this man's straight back jumping on
I'm
him.
about to say that. Wait, didn't this guy say I'm not gonna have the energy for him no more? Look at him, liar.
You know, you've been around with the missus and you've made up, and then she starts chatting to you, and you do the whole the eye thing. You're just looking. She's like, oh, what she's chatting to me. I want to be a friend again now. And then she says, I'm making food. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, lovely. Your players will never respect an unproven manager, is what SS says. Guarantee the players will probably take Ollie back.
Actually, would you know?
Probably easier.
The grass is not always. Can you imagine they do that? Can you imagine this? You know that scene?
Ollie would come back too.
He would.
I'm back.
Oh, mate, he'd be there.
You'd be like,
He gets the call. Yes.
You used to be an interview first interview.
He's been sleeping in hotel football for 5 weeks, waiting for a call, just waiting in Gary Neville's hotel.
Literally, in the first interview, you'll definitely be like, I got fired, yeah, for a bit, but now I'm back. How wonderful is this? You know what I mean? This is some things are meant to happen. And for
how you feeling, Ollie? Fantastical. That's what it's saying, man. Right, Baz says
he's not Italian.
Yeah, I know. Terrible at accents. I am no good at accents other than doing Jess's and Egal's. Egal's is the best.
Egal's is the best. Your Egal's is the best.
Oh my His American accent is just a dude accent. It's not good.
Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. It's dude. The hands. It's the hands.
Or just British accent right now.
No, don't put me on the spot. I need to practice.
Put yourself on mute. Go practice and come back.
No. I'm not doing it.
The problem is, Terry, it will cost upwards of tens of millions of pounds to eat the salaries of more than 5 players on ridiculous wages. I don't see the Glazers sanctioning that. In terms of getting rid of lots of... I totally get your point from earlier, my bro. Thank you, Baz1. Since I left, no trophies, no 80+ points, no champagne. Awesome stream today, guys. Big up the panel from SAS. Thank you, bro. Kelia, Nico, Joey Gomez, Van Dijk, Robbo, Fabinho,
lineup for tomorrow.
Millie. Named the lineup.
That's a strong team.
Yeah, that's still
strong.
A good team, man.
Guys, this isn't taking into consideration the 14 players that have COVID.
Don't matter, bro.
Stop.
CV, crap.
Klopp is the GOAT for only one. Sorry, Klopp is the GOAT for the only one to stop City at their peak. So he's the GOAT because he stopped City once. Okay. Then that means Pep's the GOAT then, I think. But limited funds and still challenge Pep. Where
limited.
Limited.
They
spent 20 million on Van
Dijk.
Disney Channel.
From an Arsenal fan, I understand where you're coming from, but that only makes Pep the GOAT, just like it made Sir Alex Ferguson the GOAT. Arsene was not the GOAT because he was challenging Sir Alex Ferguson in his pomp. That's
only two managers have won the. I'll say that word, Terry. I'll say the word. But only two.
No, go on.
I don't trust you now.
Go on.
Go ahead, say quick.
My hands are here.
Oh, he's shook, bro. He's shook.
Come on, Lulu.
He's frozen.
Louis.
He's frozen.
Please, I actually want to hear what he has to say.
Two English ones as well.
It's about to be Sir Alex Ferguson prop. So
come on, let's go. Go on.
Only 2 managers of English clubs have won the Premier League and the Champions League with the same club, with the same English club. Both.
Oh, Klopp and Fergie.
Yeah, but Fergie did both. He's in the same season and part of a treble, one with a double. But I hear you.
That's why I've said
No, Terry,
if anyone were to play Football Terrace Bingo and like guess what you'd say,
or Terry, remember,
we won the treble on that stream because on that card. Because
Klopp won all his trophies one by one. He couldn't win.
Yeah, no, listen. No. Yeah, they're one by one FC, but yeah, remember, they were champions of Europe during CV. Like, do you remember that? Do you remember when they got the Premier League and the Champions League and tried to make out it was like a double and they had those side by side?
Bro, John Terry got in a suit, got out of his suit.
No. Yours is worse. Yours is worse. Because why yours is worse is because John Terry was actually a part of the campaign, innit? Yours is two different seasons.
Two different seasons side by side.
We were the holders of those trophies.
No.
This is not WWE. This is not WWE.
No.
Louis, the only reason. Louis, the only reason you could even do that photo was because of CV started, bro. Otherwise, that Champions League wouldn't have been. That Champions League wouldn't have been there in your possession, my brother. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't have done it.
I remember one of my boys is a big Liverpool fan. When them pictures all came out, I was with him and he saw it. And I just remember he knew it. He went, oh, I said, what? He goes, look. And I was like, oh, you're going to get, and he was just like, we're going to get bantered, aren't we? It's like, yeah, he's coming. Right. Score predictions, people. Score predictions for this game. What you're saying, Jess, for if you play Arsenal, if Liverpool play Arsenal this week, what you're saying? Score predictions.
I'm going to go 3-2 Arsenal. Is that there?
Ooh, 19-1. What you saying, KJ?
All right, listen. Arsenal smoke going Liverpool's way, fam. Klopp is docking 2-0 Arsenal.
Wow, 17-2 that one. What you saying, Lulu?
Is this if the game goes ahead on Thursday?
Yes, sir.
Oh, then 5-0 Arsenal.
What did you say?
5?
What did you just realize? Say that again. Say that again. What you predicting?
5. If the game goes ahead with our COVID cases, 5-0 to Arsenal.
Wow. Okay, 5-0 to Arsenal would give you odds of 66 to 1. What you saying?
14, 13, but we don't have a goalkeeper.
Okay.
Yes, you do.
What you
James
saying,
Milner's about to play in goal.
What you saying, Patrick?
I'm saying 3-1 Arsenal.
3-1 Arsenal. Jess, did you say 3-2?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna throw a cut. I'm gonna do 3-2. I'm gonna throw in a little £2.50 on it being 3-2. And then I'm going to do what did you say, Pay?
Yeah, 3-1 Arsenal.
3-1. I think 3-1 at 12-1 is a really good bet as well. So I'm going to stick a little £2.50 on that as well. The excuses are back. There we go.
You got to throw a pound on that 66 to 1.
I should do it. Can you imagine if it happens and I don't do it? If I don't do it and it happens. You said 5-0, yeah? I've stuck a little quid. I've stuck a pound on that 66 to 1 as well, just so the viewers can see, because I don't want to think I'm not putting these on. That's it. It's locked in. A pound on 66 to 1. That's Louis' bet. Everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Someone here says Jess has no faith in her team. She just predicted a 3-2 win, mate.
Yeah, she said they win.
This is the win, which is interesting. Listen, everybody that has tuned in, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. My brilliant panel tonight, Jess, KJ, Louis, Daniel, and Patrick, all of the viewers, even the ones that have been slating me all show. It's absolutely fine.
It's always a calm, funny show when Neeks isn't on, man.
Do you know what's funny as well? Someone said to me the other day, like, I thought you said the football terrace with no echo chambers. I'm like, yeah, that's about football opinion. You can't say anything you want in the comment section. You will get mad. Like, no echo. We're a football channel. That's what it means, for full disclosure. But listen, everyone, until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Thank you.